Good night, viewers, and welcome to this another program of Advancing the Cause. This program comes to you every Wednesday night from 18:30 hours to 20 hours. The official host of this program is the Honorable Coretta McDonald, AA, MP, and General Secretary of the Guyana Teachers Union. Because of pressing duties, Miss McDonald is unable to be on this program tonight. And therefore, I wish to tender an apology for her absence. My name is Dennis Jaikran, and I'm going to be the host for this program tonight. Our topic tonight is the launch. And later on in the program, we would advise you on how is it we arrived at this topic for tonight. And so as we proceed, the order of the presentation would be GTU matters, education matters, local government and regional development matters, and then we are going to have some general issues that we will deal with. On these programs, we get feedback, and when we say feedback, numerous feedback from different agencies, organizations, ministries, regions, the private sector, and a whole host of other persons, individuals, and agencies. And so we are able to formulate our presentation based on receiving the concerns of the very many viewers on this program. And so at this stage, this program wishes to thank all those who would have advised on the many things that are happening, not in any positive way, but in a very negative ways in the different agencies, ministries, regions, and even in the private sector. And so we want to give them our gratitude and thanks on this program. Let us look at the first issue, which is the GTU election. Later on in this month, the Guyana Teachers Union will hold both its biennial congress and election of executive members for the central executive of the Guyana Teachers for 2025-2027. You would agree with me that in any organization, once that organization would have been given the opportunity, and that opportunity is to make representation and have bargain powers, there is this high expectation that those who lead will at no time betray those in the membership of the organization. And so these elections for members of the central executive of the Guyana Teachers Union for the period 2025-2027 is very important. And it is very important for the life of the Guyana Teachers Union. From all indications and from suggestions, it is alleged that there was poor leadership on the part of the president of this union and some other persons who were there to negotiate on behalf of teachers of this country for better wages and salaries and other conditions of work. And so teachers at this stage, based on a feedback, 95% of our teachers feel betrayed by the recent agreement and signing of the document, so to speak, as it relates to salaries and other benefits for our teachers. And therefore, I said early on that these elections are very important. And why they are important? Because there is need for you as teachers to be able to identify a core of people who can give leadership, who can sit with you and agree that they are not going to go and discuss in closed doors, behind closed doors, and via telephone conversations and will betray you. You don't want those leaders in the Guyana Teachers Union. And I'm giving you that background to indicate to you that these elections for officers of the Guyana Teachers Union that would be held sometime later in this month would be very, very important for all our teachers in this country. You know, our teachers have indicated, and those who would have retired from the service, when you speak with them, they give you that clear impression that the leadership, the now leadership of the Guyana Teachers Union at the very highest level is not operating in a very professional way that this union would have been accustomed to before the rise of this president that the union has now. And so, for the next tour of duty, those who are going to be elected are going to be the persons that would bring back this union to the once high professional levels of operation and that level of cordiality among our teachers and major stakeholders. The Guyana Teachers Union is here to stay. And I make this bold statement because teachers from all across this country, head teachers, teachers have been calling us on this program to advise, to indicate that they are only going to give is the support to persons that have interest and that would not betray them in any state of bargaining or negotiation. And so I want to urge our teachers to be mindful, to be careful, not to have you betrayed again. And therefore, you have to be able to elect at the upcoming elections for these officers the persons that can give you the leadership, the professional leadership that can bring back this broken union. And broken in a real sense because some people want to see that this union is broken further. It would not happen because our teachers recognize from the last betrayal of the signing of that agreement that new leadership must take the place of the Guyana Teachers Union. You know, this is not an allegation. Some very senior members of this union who are now retired, some overseas and some in Guyana, are listening to this program. And they have indicated to this program that from what they observe, they can only suggest that this leadership we have in this union now is the worst in the history of this union. And they are very peeved and upset, having served at higher levels in this union, and to see to what extent the leadership at the highest level and some among that set there would have brought this union to that state in which it is now. But I say to this program that with this new executive, that this union will grow. This union would withstand any eventuality, would be able to cross all the hurdles, because these statements are made as bold as they are because of the feedback this program would have been getting from our head teachers and teachers at all the levels: nursery, primary, secondary, tertiary institutions of this country. And viewers, I would repeat later on in the program, but I take great pleasure tonight in announcing the slate for the next leadership team of the Guyana Teachers Union. We are launching, this program is launching this team tonight. And I'm going to give you the names of the persons and the positions in which they would be contesting in the elections. And for the teachers who are listening, you have to do what is known as a cascading effect of this message, because more of our teachers would need to know in very short time who they have to support. And this program is going to continue. Having launched the program tonight, to allow for all of these candidates to present themselves on this program, so you know that you are voting for, you are supporting a team that would take this union out of the difficulties it is now faced with and take it to that high professional standards that it once enjoyed. The team, the slate, the persons who have bound themselves together, and the team that would come out victorious. All of the names that I would call tonight would be the persons that would form the next executive council of the Guyana Teachers Union. And teachers, I ask of you, this program is asking of you, at the right time during this month, when you receive your ballot papers, look for these names. Give them that support, vote for them, so that we can have that change we need from an unprofessional level of leadership to a high level of professional leadership. So for President of the Guyana Teachers Union, this program is asking that we support Sister Coretta McDonald, AA, and MP. May I repeat? For President of the Guyana Teachers Union, this program is asking that we fully support all our teachers that would be voting for all these forces that I'm going to call. Coretta McDonald for President. For first Vice President, Brother Andy Cameron. First Vice President, Brother Andy Cameron. Second Vice President, Carl Vanier. Second Vice President, Carl Vanier. General Secretary, Collis Nicholson. General Secretary, Collis Nicholson. Deputy General Secretary, Heathcliff Peters. Deputy General Secretary, Heathcliff Peters. Treasurer, Raylene Phillips Cadogan. Treasurer, Raylene Phillips Cadogan. And for the 3 regional vice presidents, Essequibo, Takordine Durga. Regional Vice President, Essequibo, Takordine Durga. Regional Vice President, Borbis, Mahalia McCalman. Regional Vice President, Borbis, Mahalia McCalman. Mahalia, may I advise? Mahalia McCalman. Regional Vice President Borbis. I correct myself in the pronunciation of the first name. And for Demerara, Kishina, Hadley, Randy, Mingo. Demerara, Regional Vice President, Kinesha, Hadley, Randy, Mingo. And so, viewers, those are the persons, the valued persons in the Guyana Teachers Union that would have presented themselves for leadership and would be the winning team at the next GTU elections for Central Executive members. Before the end of this program, for those of you who will join late, we would make this known to you once more and ask of you, not only yourself, but whichever schools you might be, whichever branch you might be, whichever region you might be, that you support this slate and only this slate. Because they have shown leadership. And we need to support them. So this program takes this opportunity tonight to formally launch this slate to be the next winning slate for the Executive Council of the Guyana Teachers Union. Teachers, support the persons who would give you leadership. Support persons that would not betray you, as you would have seen in what you call bright daylight. And support persons who would bring back this union to the high level of professionalism that it held over the years. And so this program is very happy to have launched this program, this slate, so to speak. So we turn our attention to some issues in education. Education matters. Number one is that we want this program, our viewers, to understand clearly that there are levels of discrimination as it relates to the appointment of officers to the different departments of education. in this country. Recently, an assistant mistress, graduate assistant mistress, from a particular secondary school in Region 2 would have been appointed a district education officer primary. And that person would have graduated only last year. And so this whole appointment is because of political affiliation. It is alleged that this same person who moved from that particular secondary school, appointed by the Public Service Commission, I'm going to come to that, to serve as district education officer primary, was a failed classroom teacher, was very unprofessional in the discharge of duties, was very recalcitrant as it relates to completion and submission of records. And this is easy to say because it is happening across this country in all these ministries and agencies, that they are awarding failures. And these failures are all affiliated to the PPP. How is it can we grow an education system when our best persons are not appointed to function? But it is not strange because the chief education officer of this country was pitchforked into his position without any administrative experience. Many of the senior officers, the deputy chief education officers, the assistant chief education officers, regional education officers, they were all pitchforked into their positions because of their close affiliation with the People's Progressive Party. And maybe it is payback time for them, some of them. And so the Public Service Commission, having made that appointment of a district education officer primary from a secondary school, would have failed to do a number of things as it relates to the appointment in the public service. One would have been that the public service would have failed to advertise in any way or in any form the vacancy for that position. There were no applications submitted. There was no shortlisting. There was no interview. But the Public Service Commission, as normal and as customary, would have broken all of these rules as it relates to the appointment of public officers. And this is not strange again, because at the same Department of Education in Region 2, when an officer was a DEO 1, and that vacancy browser would have lost something. Let me apologize for that short break in transmission. It was because of an electrical. Let me put it fairly. It was a blackout. It affected us just now, but we continue this program. Let them try all these things, but they are not going to get us off this program. So let us continue. So the Public Service Commission continues to break all of these rules, and I was making reference to a DO1 who would have boasted and would have been promoted to DO2 because that officer indicated that there was a connection in the form of a close relative as a member of the Public Service Commission. These are the kinds of appointments that are being made because of connections and relationships. Likewise, the regional education officer of this region, Region 2. During the month of December, they were pitchforked into their positions without following the rules of public advertisement. Applications being sent in, shortlisting, interviews, but they were pitchforked. And all of them that would have been appointed during that period, from all indications, are not performing well. But that is a system, a broken education system in this country. And yet, there's this boastful way of saying about the billions of dollars that is spent on education. And so let us look at the second point on education. Last week, the TVET unit of the Ministry of Education visited schools in Region 2, Region 3, and other regions. And at a particular secondary school in Region 2, based on the level of preparedness for the delivery of CVQ, the school scored 27.1%. 27.1%. However, this is a fail grade or an unclassified grade if you want to put it. But the teachers and the head teachers, the head teacher and the teachers of that school rather, are complaining bitterly that the team that went there, including officers of the Department of Education Region 2, instructed and forced them to continue the course of studies as it relates to the CVQ, Caribbean Vocational Qualification. Let me explain that. And so the ministry, the Department of Education, based on a feedback from that school, at no point in time before this evaluation, and at this point in time, would have never provided adequate materials and other resources for the delivery of this program. This unit, the Ministry of Education, nor the Department of Education Region 2 never saw it fit to upgrade and to allow our teachers who are delivering this program to have the necessary the skills sets to deliver this program. But yet you are forcing them, having received a score of 27.1%, to do miracles with those lauders. It cannot happen. And it would never happen if you do not provide our teachers adequate training in a particular area and to have them have the necessary resources and materials to deliver this program. But I'm talking about technical education and this Caribbean vocational education. Let me say to this program, there are two institutions that are responsible for the delivery of the technical curriculum. There are allegations that the head of one of these technical vocational centers in Region 3 is only at the place of work, allegedly, 1 day or less than that per week. And those who are responsible for delivering the program, the instructors and all the others, are complaining bitterly because they do not have that level of leadership. And it is one out of the two institutions in Region 3, technical vocational institution. And it is further alleged that this head of this institution would spend most of the time engaging in activities organized and maybe in some cases being seconded to the Department of Education to carry out functions. Imagine this. The Department of Education Region 3 and the Ministry of Education, they see it fit to second a head of a technical vocational education institution for that person to attend to regional and national events. Mastermani, National Athletics Championships, costume competition, which is Mastermani too, and all these competitions. Can you imagine that? And when this head of this is supposed to be in school, it is alleged that his person is busy with the distribution of cash grants. And I want our teachers to know that some people that are presenting themselves for leadership on the executive council of the Guyana Teachers Union, not on the list that I would have launched or so, they might be presenting themselves to positions. But I'm saying to you, those might be the same persons that do not give leadership in their institutions. They take time to be seconded to the Department of Education, and they are busy with cash grant. So if you have to do by a process of elimination, not to support any of those who would have fallen into those categories, then you have a right not to support them as it relates to having them be on the executive council of the Guyana Teachers Union. And if they were there and they betrayed you and they're doing all these things that I would have mentioned, then it gives you a further clearance not to support them. And so, teachers, we keep speaking to you on this program because this program, we believe in you. We believe in the public servants of this country. We believe in our military personnel, our soldiers, our police men and women, those from the fire service, those from the prison service, those who are in the private sector, employed in the private sector. This program is very supportive and concerned of your welfare. We look at your welfare. You are part of us. And we urge you to take seriously what we are saying tonight as it relates to the topic, the launch. And so I come back to this 27.1 percent out of 100. Shame. You go and assess the people, the TVET unit. You went there, you assess them. But prior to that assessment, you're giving our head teachers and our teachers basket to fetch water. But yet you went there to see a basket full of water. That is how bright you are in the education system. And that is why the billions of dollars that are being spent, there's no outcome, positive, so to speak, spending those billions of dollars. And our teachers and our head teachers, our parents and our learners are made to suffer because of the system as established. And therefore, we have to take a serious look at what is happening in the system. You know, viewers, maybe, and this program would have never done that, and we would never do, would blame our teachers and our head teachers and our parents and learners for being misguided. And let me make a point. If a particular nursery school in Region 2, there is a bold poster on the fence that indicates in bright colors the colors of our national flag, one Guyana. I want to urge our head teachers, our teachers, our parents, and our learners to know that our motto in this country is one people, one nation, one destiny. And if by chance those exercise books that you receive, I don't know how the cover page is, the front page is, but there was a particular time when you had on that cover page a symbol, the coat of arms of this country. And it was boldly written there, one people, one nation, one destiny. That was done because the message of that symbol, significant as it is, our motto must be there so that our learners would always be guided. And so the head teacher of that school, the parents, teachers of that school, the learners, it is not nursery school, and all the other schools in this country, including our technical vocational institution or teachers training college. If by chance there is that one Guyana slogan anywhere, don't be betrayed. You notice I'm using the word betrayed and we're using launch by that slogan of one Guyana. Our motto remains one people, one nation, one destiny. And head teacher of this program, of this school, if you are listening, it might be a good thing if you can quietly, in your own way, try not to allow any viewing of that one Guyana slogan that is there for the purposes of the eyes of people, especially the learners, parents, and teachers. And if by chance the other schools, you have an opportunity to disallow yourself from not engaging in what is the real motto, one people, one nation, one destiny. But I guess since that was posted, there, one people, sorry, one Guyana was posted there. I guess the regional education officer and the officers of the region would have visited that school or would have passed and they would have seen that. But if they pay no attention, it is time for them to pay attention to that. So I'm bringing it to their attention so that they know better. You know, the regional education officer, if there's any sanction, and sanction is a very popular word in this country now, that person should be sanctioned. So the third issue I want to deal with as it relates to education is a memo. You know, this program would have been saying this over and over since last year. And it would appear as though the Ministry of Education, the Chief Education Officer, continues not to understand or to have himself being aware of how to construct a memo. And this is a memo dated the 4th of March 2025 from the Chief Education Officer, a memo, and you put memorandum, Ministry of Education, Guyana. memorandum. And then you go boldly at the bottom here to sign, ending like a letter. Mr. Chief Education Officer, stop embarrassing yourself. Let somebody teach you how to construct a memo. You are starting a memo and you are ending in the form of a letter, as you would have done here again. It says, this is for your information. The content is atrocious. Yours respectfully, Saddam Hussein, Chief Education Officer. That is point number one. Point number two, the subject, National Secondary Schools Track and Field Championship 2025. In the history of this country, this has always been referred to as National, whatever it is, but they have schools, secondary schools, Track and Field Championship 2020. It is not championship, it is championships, because it is track and field, and they are different. And since they are different, there are going to be two championships. And when you had swimming, cycling, athletics, and what have you, all these kinds of things, track and field events, it was still championships. So if you have track and field, it remains championships. Chief Education Officer, champion the cause of your language. And then look, this gentleman says, will be held from, as the nursery school child would do, 11th of March 2025 to 13th of March to, oh my God, off. It is not supposed to be, it is supposed to be 11th March, comma, there's no comma there, 2025. He said these children or slaughters would be housed. Use proper language, CEO. Will be accommodated at these schools listed below. Watch the bad language here. Look again. Look again. The last paragraph. Here what he is instructing the head teachers of the schools listed here. Right? Head teachers at the schools. It's supposed to be of the schools listed above, including Lenora Primary. And Lenora Primary is there also, but yet you put including primary, are asked to vacate the schools by 13 hours so that the classrooms can be prepared to receive the student athletes. This is a fancy term, student athletes, on the 9th of, again, March 2025. Head teachers must ensure that all inventorized assets of the schools are secured. I don't know. This is a confusing last paragraph in this, what you call it, either memo or letter. You see, this program is bringing to you, the viewers, all of these things. Simple as these things appear to be, these things have deep-rooted implications. Yet, the Ministry of Education seemed to turn a blind eye on all of these aspects of things that this program referred to time and again. Let us start our attention to number 3 item, local government and regional development. But before we go there, this program would have been harping. And I'm going to make the bold statement tonight again. Because this program is going to continue to speak to that until justice is served. And that is to say that there is an illegal and unauthorized mechanical workshop operating in a residential area, causing noise, dust, and chemical pollution on a continuous basis, including Sundays, weekends, and holidays, late hours in the nights. I'm just calling out again the failed paid state employees attached to these agencies that are not doing what they are paid for. And these agencies are the Guyana Revenue Authority, the National Insurance Scheme, the Guyana Power and Light, the Environmental Protection Agency, and the tremendously failed Ministry of Labor under the poor, mismanaged leadership of the minister who is placed there. And this program is making known again that these agencies that I would have just called are all failed agencies as it relates to the operation and functioning of this illegal and unauthorized mechanical workshop in a residential area, causing noise, dust, and chemical pollution. So let us go back to the second point in the local government and regional development. If you go to the Riverstone Annandale District Council office or NDC office, you would see the national flag of Guyana, an important symbol of this country, is placed in a very compromised position. Sometimes you do not refer to these materials things as placed in compromised positions. But this program is referring to that because it is heartbroken that the front wall of that building, a flag of Guyana, the national flag, would have been mounted what you call back to front. Very shameful as it is. But they don't know better. They don't know better. And when you don't know better, you would know better. And they don't have an interest. Look, it is there. If you look right now on the screen, you would see there Riverstone Annandale NDC building. You see what I'm talking about, back to front? And that is how they are managing this country, back to front management. That is why we are in this state we are in. And so I believe that the commandant of this regional division, police division, should be held accountable for this. Or maybe he does not have a relationship with his officers. I don't know. This program is only alleging that none of them might have passed that area, because they ought to see that, and that is part of their duty. But how trained are they as it relates to these national symbols? And so it is on the screen there. You can see it. It is not a make-up story. Later on, the operator would bring up that one Guyana story that we spoke about, and you would see it as it is there, so that you can better understand what we are saying on this program here. And so there is need for somebody to call out the regional police commandant to do his work and to do it properly. These are the things that are affected. Look, on your screen there you see the one Guyana story on that nursery school. And look how unpresentable the front of that building there, despite the fact you have hundreds of workers, you call the 10-day workers, the SIP workers, the NDC workers. That is a school compound. Look at the front there. Very unkept and untidy. So you're calling out now, regional education officer, please tell the public, where are you spending the money as it relates to the cleaning, weeding and cleaning of school compounds? You see, when this program say to you all these things, some people are of the opinion that we make these stories up. But this is the evidence that we are bringing to you, so that you better understand what we are saying. You better understand that these workers, nothing is wrong with 10-day workers. So when they are there, they are not properly supervised. They are not properly managed in terms of what they ought to do. And so what you do, you are training people to be lazy on what they are paid for. And this is not good enough, receiving taxpayers' dollars. And so this is the story about the one Guyana posted on the fence of the nursery school that we spoke about earlier. And so thank you very much, operator, for bringing that to our attention there. So we continue. You know, some time ago, this program indicated to you that there was this establishment of a massive industrial site between Golden Fleece and Colin in Region 2. And it is alleged, and a number of allegations rather. One, that the owner and manager of that establishment is a paid state employee, a senior personnel at the Department of Health in Region 2. That is the first allegation. The second allegation is that the Department of Health vehicles, allegations, so to speak, and employees are made to be present there to carry out function assisting, allegations, this senior health official in the execution of duties. You see, we talk about betrayal early on. We talk about launch early on. And so it is further alleged that when these specialized officials, employees rather, state employees of the Department of Health Region 2 are needed for emergency works at these health facilities, their services are engaged at this massive established industrial site. This is cause of concern. All of these allegations are serious cause of concern. And so the regional executive officer would need to answer questions. The permanent secretary, Ministry of Health, would need to answer questions. The accountant general and the finance secretary, they would need to answer questions. The auditor general would need to answer questions because state employees are there during allegedly normal working hours. This is an infraction on the system, and there is need for some level of investigation as it relates to utilizing the human and capital and material resources at a private place instead of the state agency that it was made to function. It is further alleged that these employees complain, but nobody is listening to them. And when they do not, or when they refuse to do work that is privately arranged during normal working hours, and they refuse, as I said earlier on, they are made to face the consequences of the senior health employee that is paid by state money. And so, we have to tell this story as it is. And remember, we didn't call any name of any person. And we are not going to do that. We are saying what are the things alleged. Because it is further alleged that this same employee at the Department of Health, senior employee at the Department of Health Region 2, would have recently purchased a property opposite a particular secondary school in this region at the sum of $20 million. Let me repeat. It is alleged that this same senior health employee of Region 2 recently purchased a plot of land opposite a particular secondary school in Region 2 for the sum of $20 million. So you ask these questions and they would be asked again later on. Where is the Commissioner General? Where is the Auditor General? Where is the General Manager of NIS? Where is the Minister of Labor? Where is the Executive Director of EPA? Are they still sleeping? Why are they turning a blind eye on these situations? Because all these facilities, the functioning of all these industries in the industrial side would need them to attend to these matters. And so it is further alleged that the operator of this establishment is operating a zinc factory, a block factory, and operating a number of ransom trucks. Not random trucks, ransom trucks. Now, early on, I asked the questions, and I ask it again because it is cause for concern. Allegedly, a state employee in the Department of Health Region 2 is involved in this massive operation, allegedly purchasing lots of plots of lands, one recently for $20 million. So where is the Auditor General? Where is the Regional Executive Officer? Where is the NIS, the GRA, the Environmental Protection Agency, the Ministry of Labor, the Minister of Labor? You see, these questions need to answer. Where are these people and the officers that are paid by state money, including all of them that I would have called just now? They are paid state employees, taxpayers' money pay them, but yet they do not function. They have reasons sometimes to turn a blind eye on certain situations. And so this program is calling out all of them to answer to the public of these infractions as alleged and these operations as alleged. And so this program would have made mention of it, would continue to make, because this program continues to receive information as it is. Some general issues now, and we are coming on to the close, but we are going to deal with some general issues. You know, the Public Accounts Committee last Monday held another sitting or meeting. And the Ministry of Finance, the officers there, who are all paid employees, paid by taxpayers' money, paid by state money, they were made to answer for a particular year of the financial transactions and functionings of the Ministry of Finance. And it was shameful to know that the Accountant General and the Finance Secretary shameful to know that they performed very poorly. And if anyone in their right minds would want to assign any score to them from 1 to 10 based on the performance, 1 being the lowest and 10 being the highest, I would want to strongly believe that any person in their right mind that listened to that program or that hearing of the Public Accounts Committee of Guyana would have scored them not more than 2 on that scale 1 to 10 10 being the highest and 1 being the lowest. Both of them continue when these questions were put to them, continue to betray, and you hear I'm using the word again, continue to bluff the members of the Public Accounts Committee. They continue not to answer the question, and they continue to wear away from the questions that were put to them. Yet, with other agencies, and they didn't realize, or they now come to realize, if they realize that they are accounting officers, just like the permanent secretaries and the regional executive officers and heads of budget agencies. They are also in that category as it relates to head of budget agencies and to go to the Public Accounts Committee to answer questions. But when they sit there as advisors to the Public Accounts Committee, because they are not members, but they give the impression that they are boss onto those heads of budget agencies that present themselves for a review and to answer questions based on the Auditor General's report. But I say to you, as I continue to say, that all and sundry believe that all that is written in the Auditor General's report, they are all true and correct and are all facts. Many times they are fictions. They are misleading. And they are not telling the true story of it is as it is. And people tend to believe the way people like Ejel and Teixeira, when they ask questions at the Public Accounts Committee, they ask because they know that this thing is being broadcast and people are looking at it. And they can't ask questions. They don't know how to construct questions. Both Ejel and Teixeira, they don't know to construct questions. And the Accountant General and the Finance Secretary, you see them last week. They were only bluffing their way. They were not answering questions. Yet they want our permanent secretaries and our regional executive officers and our heads of budget agencies to go there and they say, look, we are looking at the review of this here. Up to this day, they can't tell you, none of them that are paid, the Auditor General, the Accountant General, the Finance Secretary, can never tell you who are the persons entitled to housing in any region. They can't tell you that because they do not know. And every time you ask them, oh, we would look at it. Who are entitled? We would look at it. Yet every year you see these persons are not entitled to, but these persons are entitled. Go across this country in all of these regions, all of these ministries, and see who are the occupants of government quarters. And this is not to cast any aspersion on the system as it is. It is telling you that they do not know what they are doing because laborers and guards and what have you, this is not to bring down people as it is, are occupying these government quarters. And because some of them would have occupied for so long, they become owners of these properties now. Yet you put it in the Auditor General's report, asking your RUs to answer these questions. Our RUs and our permanent secretaries and our heads of budget agencies, if you don't know, They are complaining bitterly to this program of the way things are happening, and they are not getting the desired answers when they ask these questions. And so these are all cause of concern as it relates to all of these things that are happening in the public service. Now, recently, I come to the second point. Recently, as yesterday, there was a situation at Watuka Day Primary School. I have an interest in Region 10. And let me tell you why I have an interest in Region 10. I work in that region for 8 years. And how I was sent there, I was sent there because people thought that they were putting me in a position. Sheikh Baksh, I'm talking about. Sheikh Baksh, the same man that is disgracing himself at Guyana, who failed the education system, sent me as principal of the Linden Technical. What he did was to send me in my own backyard. But he thought I would have failed, but I brought up that institution, and they were very, very surprised. They were sending a fellow you call the Assistant Chief Education Officer, who was once the principal of GTI, who doesn't know anything about education, to monitor LTI on a daily basis. He did not work to Louis Georgetown. And so they sent him there. So I have that interest. And so when I heard of this story of what happened at the Watuka Day Primary School, I was very concerned. And so this program wants to give its support to that school, the head teacher, all the learners, the teachers, and the parents, because they showed that special interest. And from the reports today and what I would have seen, that they were able to capture not the police. The police was busy yesterday securing and guarding Egel when he visited. Maybe the security was provided for Egel because of the bad roads he would have done, and they were of the opinion that when he would have walked on them, he would have fell through the road. And that is why he had the whole of the divisional police officers there with them when they were made to go to search for the person that committed there. But today they were able to get it, and this program that we feel very happy. But we want to say, this program wants to say that this same regional education officer would have presided over a number of infractions since the person went to the region, and continues to preside over these infractions. And the recent one was this story at Watuka Day Primary School. And so, Region 10, you ought to know that you have a regional education officer who is presiding over a system that is not causing the people, the learners of Region 2, and our teachers to be satisfied in their performance. Therefore, this program is calling, but from all indications, this regional education officer, like those who were appointed in December, are very close to the PPP and the Minister of Education. And therefore, you can only conclude that they can continue to do all the wrong things by not being touched, but the communities continue to support. So this program as it is, we want to advise you that we are going to once again announce the slate as we close this program tonight for the Guyana Teachers Union elections to be held later in this month. And this is the slate that we are asking all our teachers to vote for and to vote overwhelmingly so that we have not only a slim majority, but we have a 95% majority as all these positions would declare later on. So for president, we support president for the Guyana Teachers Union. Coretta McDonald, AAMP, Coretta McDonald, AAMP for president. First Vice President, Andy Cameron. First Vice President, Andy Cameron. Second Vice President, Carl Vanier. Second Vice President, Carl Vanier. General Secretary, Collis Nicholson. General Secretary, Collis Nicholson. Deputy General Secretary, Heathcliff Peters. Deputy General Secretary, Treasurer, Raylene Phillips Cadogan. Treasurer, Raylene Phillips Cadogan. Regional Vice Presidents, Esquivo Takordine Durga, Esquivo Takordine Durga, Borbis, Mahalia McCalman, and Demerara, Kedisha, Hadley, Randy, Mingo. Demerara, Kenisha, Hadley, Randy, Mingo. Viewers, I now present and formally from this program launch this slate for elections to the leadership of the Guyana Teachers Union at its upcoming election later this month. Mind you that postal votes might have already been, I don't know, in the system, but teachers, you have this slate that you need to give the support. Viewers, I want to say how grateful we are to you for your continued guidance and allowing us to receive from you valuable information so that we can make this program as successful as we want to make it and as useful as you would want to have receive it. We want to say how grateful we are. We want to thank you very, very much. We want to extend good night to you and may God bless you continuously.